Yes. Good afternoon, students. In the previous class, we have already discussed about different metal forming processes. So, in this class, we will discuss about high energy rate forming processes, such as explosive forming, hydroelectric forming, hydromagnetic forming, and so many other metal forming high energy rate forming processes. Uh, in the recent years, certain unconventional forming processes have been developed which use chemical, electrical, and magnetic energy as a means to cause forming action. In these, the rate of energy flow is very high and are commonly referred to as high energy rate forming processes. Thus, high energy rate forming processes are those in which on a workpiece more energy per unit time is applied efficiently for the forming operations. The principle of high energy rate forming processes can be used on both light and heavy gauge materials. When used on light gauged materials, it is termed as high energy rate forming processes, and when used for thicker materials, it is termed as high energy forging processes. However, the forming processes are affected by the rate of strain used. Effects of strain rates during forming then. The flow stress increases with the strain rates. The temperature of work is increases due to adiabatic heating. Improved lubrication if lubrication film is maintained. Many difficult to form materials like titanium and tungsten alloys can be formed under high strain rates. Then coming to the HRF principle, then according to the high energy rate forming processes, in high energy processes, the energy is released and used for very short duration, and it is the rate of energy release which is more significant than its total quantity. Here energy is released at a high rate that local deformation occurs before the energy can be dissipated by plastic waves through the deformed materials. To understand the principle of high energy rate forming processes, we should know the theory behind it. We know that any forming involves plastic flow of materials. Plastic flow of materials is both time and temperature dependent, as mentioned in the earlier chapters. It is also applicable to high energy rate forming processes. Here we will discuss these discuss these two aspects briefly. Accordingly, the time dependent behavior, that is also a major principle of high energy rate forming processes. The time dependent behavior of a metal can be explained with true stress strain curve then. So, and the toughness properties. True stress increases with increasing strain rates. In other words, the flow stress increases considerably with high strain rates, while true strain to fracture reduces by small amount. Also, higher working temperatures increases the strain rate of the materials. We know that toughness of a metal, it is the ability to absorb energy till it fractures. Thus, the area under true stress strain curve, it is termed as material toughness. However, all this concept, it is a major principle of high energy rate forming processes with a time dependent behavior. Then temperature dependent behavior in metals, increased temperature reduces the flow stress. Another advantage of high temperature in forming is the higher strain to fracture, which is very high in certain materials. Of course, some strain energy is lost in necking, hence may not be really used for forming them. Temperature also increases toughness. This increases in toughness does not have much influence in slow forming, but it certainly helps in high velocity forming operation. Higher temperature also helps in accelerating the creep in metals. We know that creep is the plastic deformation that occurs at stresses lower than those required to cause slip. High temperature creep forming operations are possible in practice. The benefits of creep forming includes elimination of spring back and other problems like buckling and distortion. However, in metals shaped in few microseconds in high energy rate forming process due to the high pressure generated by the instant application of large amount of energy, mostly in these principles, the metal to be formed is instantly slammed against the area and shaped so that there is no change for the metal to even to spring back. This instant forming can be used help of high energy equation, that is what kinetic energy is equal to half mv square, where m is the mass and v is the velocity. This high energy can be increased either by increasing the mass or velocity. It can also be seen from the equation that the greater energy increase is possible by increasing the velocity. Since the energy is a function of the velocity squared, a comparison of kinetic energy is considered in high energy rate forming processes. However, the energy of deformation is delivered at a much higher rate than the conventional practice. Large energy is applied for a very short interval of time. Particle velocities are produced in contrast with conventional forming processes. The velocity of deformation is also very large, and hence these are also called high velocity forming processes. Many metals tend to deform more rapidly under extra fast application of force than large parts can be easily formed by this technique. Many metals, the elongation to fracture increases with the strain rate beyond the usual metal working range until a critical strain rate is achieved, where the ductility drops sharply. The strain rate depends upon strength increases with increasing temperature. The yield stress and flow stress at lower plastic strains are more dependent on strain rate than the tensile strength. High rates of strain causes the yield point to appear in test on low carbon steels that do not show a yield point under ordinary rates of strain. Then all these are the principles used in high energy forming processes. However, all these basic principles, nothing but about metal behavior, temperature behavior, with stress strain relationships, all will be used. Some of the high energy rate forming processes or techniques are explosive forming or underwater explosions, explosive forming they may call it as. Underwater electric discharge forming or electrohydraulic forming, under use of rapid magnetic field, call it as electromagnetic forming, pneumatic mechanical forming, internal combustion of gases uses for forming processes. All these are the techniques, and a few techniques of these such as explosive forming, electrohydraulic forming, electromagnetic forming are added in our syllabus. Then we will study all these techniques one after the other after discussing about advantages, disadvantages and applications of HERF processes. So some of the advantages of HER process are: production rates are very higher as parts are made at a rapid rate, because very high velocity and high pressure it is impacted over the work part. Suddenly it forms into the desired shape in a dice. Then the die costs are relatively lower than compared to other forming processes, and these die costs are lower. Tolerance can be easily maintained. Any tolerance, even then sheet metal and large thicker metals can be formed to the desired tolerances. Versatility of the processes, it is possible to form most metals, including difficult to form metals, into the desired shape. Means then complex shapes can be formed. Then no or minimum spring back effect on material after the process. In many of the metal forming processes, such as conventional metal forming process, are having a disadvantage such that spring back effect. They may tend to retain its original shape slightly, or sometimes it gain the properties then. But in this high energy rate forming processes, there is no spring back effect and no destroyment of the tolerances. Production cost is low as power hammer is eliminated in the process, hence it is economically justifiable. So power hammers cost of equipment is very high, because that investment if you made in high energy rate forming processes can easily form the shape. Then complex shapes profiles can be made much easily as compared to conventional forming process. Highly complex shapes and profiles with small medium to large parts can be easily formed. The required final shape dimensions are obtained in one stroke, thus eliminating intermediate forming steps and free forming dies. Then so before forming, some operations to be carried out in many metal forming process can be eliminated, and even then different strokes repetitively applied over the parts to form into the desired shape in many metals, such can be eliminated. Therefore it is more advantageous, suitable for range of production volumes such as small numbers, batch and mass production. Even then batch, mass and job shop production can also be makes use of such high energy rate forming process. However, it is also having some limitation. Then highly skilled personnel are required to form required from design to execution. Then highly skilled personnel are required from design to execution. Then so design of equipment, handling of equipment, then execution, nothing but operating conditions of the equipment are very important, because use high energy it is released over the work part. Then hence skilled personnel are required. Transient stresses of high magnitude are applied on the work part. So means heavy stresses are applied, high magnitudes in transient stresses are applied the work pass, not suitable to highly brittle materials. Brittle materials getting fracture with high energy, so hence not suitable. Source of energy, nothing but chemical, explosive or electrical must be handled carefully. So handling of explosives or energy source are difficult. Then governmental regulations, procedures, safety norms must be followed, unless otherwise they may not be allow you to operate these. Then dies need to be much bigger to withstand high energy rates and shocks and to prevent cracking. Then so high costly dies are required. Controlling the application of energy is critical, as it may crack the die or work. Then because sudden explosions, sudden dissipation of the energy from electric source or magnetic source or hydraulic source impact over the work part. Then so therefore it is difficult to control. It is very essential to know the behavior established performance of the work metal initially. So work material characteristics should be studied well in advance before starting the operation. Then coming to the applications in shipbuilding, to form large plates parts up to 25 mm thick, ING rate forming process are advantages. Bending thick tubes bends up to 25 mm thick or high energy rate forming process are required because conventional are not possible. Crimping of metal strips, radar dishes, elliptical domes used in space applications, cladding of two large plates of dissimilar metals, all can be carried out by high energy rate forming processes. These are all advantages, disadvantages, and applications of high energy rate forming processes. So, finding a wider applications, more advantages, hence high energy rate forming process, finding a wider application in industries. Then different techniques, as I said about what high energy rate forming processes, such as explosive forming, hydroelectric forming, hydromagnetic forming. These three they have added in our syllabus. Then discuss one after the other. Then coming to the what explosive forming. Then so a punch in conventional forming is replaced by an explosive charge. Explosives used can be high energy chemicals like TNT, RDX, and dynamite. And even in gaseous mixtures are also used as explosives. And the propellants can also be used as explosives. Then to consider or to select this process, this high energy rate forming process, some of the factors are considered while selecting this explosive forming process. Size of the workpiece, either it is a very large or medium or small. Then geometry of deformation, in complexity of the work part, behavior of work material and high strain rates, energy requirement source, etc. Nothing but a material behavior under application of force or pressure. Then cost of tooling and die cycle time, overall capital equipment, safety considers. These are all what some of the factors to be considered while selecting explosive forming processes. So then there are two types of explosive forming processes. One, it is a unconfined type or stand-off technique. Another one, it is a confined type or a contact technique. However, I'll discuss both type of explosive forming processes. Unconfined type or stand-off technique. The principle of unconfined type or stand-off technique, it is said that the work is firmly supported on the die and the die cavity is evacuated. A definite quantity of explosive is placed suitably in a water medium at a definite stand-off distance from the work. On detonation of explosive charge, a pressure pulse, nothing but what shock waves of high energy, high intensity is produced. Such it is transferred on the workpiece. The working principle of explosive forming, it is shown in the figure. You look at the picture, then try to understand. Then there is a tank. Then explosives are dipped into the water tank. Then workpiece, it is kept on the die. Then and it is held by work hold devices, nothing but what hold down ring, and a vacuum line also it is provided in the die. Then and a pressure tight tank also it is shown in the figure. It is of unconfined type of explosive forming process. When the detonator is detonated, high energy pressure pulse are transferred into the water because it is made to dip in a water. Those high energy shock waves or pressure waves transferred on the work part kept on the die. Then so because of high energy and pressure shock waves, metal deformed into the dies. because the die it is having a shape of the work to be formed, hence it is formed easily into the die. Later it is evacuated with the vacuum, then because it is strongly formed into the die, then it is all shown in the figure. A gas bubble it is also produced, which expands spherically and then collapses when the pressure pulse impinges against the work or plate or sheet. The metal is deformed into the die with high velocity around 120 meters per second, approximately 430 kilometers per hour. The vacuum is necessary in the die to prevent adiabatic heating of the work, which may lead to oxidation or melting. Then, therefore, by providing a vacuum line, you can avoid the oxidation or melting of the metal. Then explosives are made to dip in a water. Then the role of water it is such that acts as energy transfer medium, ensures uniform transmission of energy, muffles the sound of explosion, cushioning smooth application of energy on the work without direct contact. Some of the process variables are type and amount of explosives. Wide range of explosives are available, and what amount of explosive it is required to form the work part, and for what time, at what temperature, it is very important. So stand up distance, it is the distance between workpiece and the explosive. Optimum stand up distance must be maintained, that is very important for forming the work part without damage. The medium used to transmit energy, that is what water is most widely used. Then work size, it is dependent upon the amount of explosion. Then work material properties, so indirectly related to the type of explosives and amount of explosives. Then vacuum in the die, then to prevent oxidation and melting. Then advantages of this process: the shock wave is efficiently transmitted through a water and energy is transmitted effectively on the workpiece. Less noise, less probability of damage to work. Then large and thick parts can be easily formed. Economical when compared to hydraulic presses. Then limitations: optimum stand-up distance is essential for proper forming operation. Vacuum is essential and hence it adds to the cost. Dies must be larger and thicker to withstand shocks, not suitable for small and thick works. Explosives must be carefully handled according to the regulations of the government. So then, as I said about the applications, shipbuilding, radar dish, elliptical domes in space applications normally formed with the unconfined method of explosive forming. Then coming to the confined system. The pressure pulses or shock waves produced is in direct contact with the work part. Earlier it is not contact, but it is dipped in the water, and by exploiting high energy and pressure shock waves are transmitting on the work part. So but in this case, pressure pulses or shock waves produced in direct contact with the workpiece, usually tubular, and hence energy directly applied on the work without any water media. The tube collapses into the die cavity and is formed. It is used for bulging and flaring operations. So therefore, confined method of explosive forming process, it is shown in figure. You look at the picture then. So there is a forming die and having a die cavity, and workpiece it is placed in the die cavities. The die is made into two holes, and the cartridge containing a explosives are um, in contact with the workpiece. It is clearly shown in the workpiece. So then coming to the what advantages, then entire shockwave front is utilized as there is no loss in water, more efficient as compared to unconfined type. Then disadvantage, more hazards of die failure, vacuum is required in the die, air present in the workpiece is compressed leading to heating, not suitable for large and thick plate applications, and even then different configured work pits are not possible. Then coming to applications, bulging and flaring of tubes is a common application with the what confined method of explosive forming. So all we have discussed about the explosive forming. Then carefully we have to study the principle of explosive forming, because it is the most important. Nowadays it is widely used, therefore you need to understand all these about them. Alright then. So then as we studied about this the components of explosive forming, the important components of a stand-off explosive forming are that explosive charge, energy transmitting media, die assembly, vacuum pump. These are briefly discussed one after the other. Then explosive charge, then explosive is a chemical substance which on reaction releases rapidly a large volume of gases with considerable amount of heat. These explosives may be either solid or liquid, containing nitrogen combined with carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. On detonation, nitrogen gas is released suddenly, while carbon and hydrogen form gaseous products with oxygen. There are two categories of explosives: low power and high power explosives. Low power explosives include gunpowder and cordite. Cordite is a smokeless explosive. Low power explosives are used for low energy operations and indoor farming operations. The velocity of explosives in the range of 100 meters per second to the 200 meters per second. The high power explosive include trinitrotoluene, nothing but TNT, that is what C7H5 NO2 triethyl, and pentacrythetol tetranitrate, that PTN, C then cyclotrimethylene trinitromeline, that is RDX, and trinitroglycerin, that is C3H5 NO3 tris. The velocity of explosive ranges from 200 meters per second to 8000 meters per second. The use of detonator is essential to cause detonation in high explosives. These need high skill and care in operation and used only in outdoor applications. So these are comes under explosive charge. Then energy transmitting medium, generally water or air is used as the medium for transmitting energy between the explosives and the work. For most application, water is commonly used medium. Since it is incompressible, the strength of the pressure waves transmitted is higher. Water has also advantages of reducing noise level and damage to the workpiece from any explosive particles. Since air is compressible, the strength of the pressure waves transmitted is lower but can be used for thin sections. Noise levels are higher with air. Even other mediums like oil, talc, clay, suspended in water, etc., can also be used for transmitting the energy. Then die assembly and die cavity, die assembly and die material. These include the die and work cooled ring and the vacuum line. For explosive forming, only female half of the die is required. While the shock waves act as the punch, the die material should be capable of withstanding high impact loads. Since the complex stress pattern is generated after the explosion, the die should be designated to take care of this, and sharp corners should be avoided to the what extent possible. The die cavity should be smooth enough to get good surface finish on the work part, and also to help easy release of the part from the die. A sealing ring is provided between the blank and the die to avoid leakage of working media into the cavity. Then vacuum pump. Efficient vacuum pump is an essential part of the explosive forming setup. Vacuum creation is necessary in the die cavity to avoid eating of the entrapped air due to adiabatic compression while the part is being formed under shock waves, and subsequent burning or puckering of the work surfaces. Then cavity at the cavity side and the die cavity surface also air is present would cause cushioning effect, thereby reducing the effect of impact on the work part, and many not allow the part to get formed fully to the die cavity shape. Once the vacuum in the die cavity, the part takes clear die cavity shapes under shock loads. Then process variables in depth will discuss in the next video class. Thank you then. Thank you all. I hope you have written test well then. Will advise you to study hard, work hard for the coming examinations. Before that, you should try to attend the second internal, write more things. Then good luck then. Thank you all.